The sound of running footsteps, a scuffle in the bushes, an unaccounted piece of jewellery. Who was responsible for the vicious murder of Geoffrey Houghton-Windsor? You're listening to Jason Lightoller from Tragedy Unravelled, a podcast committed to unsolved murder cases from the United Kingdom. The names are real, the evidence is chilling, and the truth is still out there. This podcast contains graphic details and discusses disturbing events of murder and violence that some may find upsetting. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Geoffrey was born on the 7th of November 1944 in Liverpool, but spent a large part of his life in southern England, eventually settling in London. He lived a very secluded and private life, and his colleagues in the city where he worked as a messenger were unaware he was a gay man. Geoffrey had no long-term partner, and he did not discuss much about his private life with his next of kin, which was his sister. She said she was unsure of his sexuality, as Geoffrey had relationships with women in the past. Geoffrey was close to his sister, and they frequently met with each other, and they had planned to do so the following weekend after he died. He was described by his family members as being very intelligent, knowledgeable about plants and gardening, musical, talented at many things, and being a railway buff. Geoffrey lived in Bray Court, opposite Beaulieu Heights in Upper Norwood in South London. Upper Norwood is a leafy, elevated South London district that is largely synonymous with the vibrant Crystal Palace area. Spanning the borders of Lambeth, Croydon and Bromley, it's famed for its village atmosphere, independent shops and sweeping views of the London skyline, and it sits at one of the highest points in Greater London. Beaulieu Heights is a 16-acre area of ancient woodland and public open space located between South Norwood and Upper Norwood in the London Borough of Croydon. It's pronounced locally as Beaulieu, and the tranquil, sloping nature reserve features winding trails, mature oak trees, open meadows and a hidden pond. The park is home to the Croydon Transmitting Station, and it features a mix of woodland and a downward-sloping meadow with a spring that runs along its length. It's a popular spot for dog walking, running and a sustainable foraging area. The terrain includes moderate walking routes, including loops that connect to the nearby South Norwood Lake. Visitors are generally advised to stick to the main paths, as certain areas may not be suitable for children or families, as the woodland has a long-standing reputation as a secluded, well-known cruising area where men could meet other men for sexual encounters. There are two entrances to the park. The main gates are on South Norwood Hill, and there is a smaller side entrance which is unlit on Auckland Road. Geoffrey was known to visit Beaulieu Heights. There had been several incident reports of violent homophobic crimes in the area, and also at another cruising ground nearby in a different borough. On the 25th of June 2002, Geoffrey left work shortly after 5 p.m. However, his travel card showed that he did not go home, and he went to Holborn in central London. His movements between that time and the earlier hours of the following day are unknown. In the early hours of the following morning, it was reported there were between 15 to 20 people in Beaulieu Heights. Witnesses said at about 1:40 a.m. they heard the sound of running footsteps followed by a scuffle, but it was unclear if the person was running in or out of the park. The altercation must have drawn the attention of other people nearby, as a 999 emergency call was made by a member of the public to the police and the ambulance services to reports of an unconscious man near the main entrance to the park. At 1:52 a.m, Geoffrey Houghton-Windsor was found by the police severely wounded lying beneath a tree. He was taken by ambulance as a priority to the nearby Mayday Hospital in Croydon for urgent treatment, but he was pronounced dead at 2:35 a.m. A murder investigation was launched and appeals were made locally via newspapers and posters. A 14-carat white and yellow gold ring with diamonds was found on the ground near Geoffrey's body, but it was not known if it belonged to him or the attacker. Detectives put forward several different motives for the murder, including robbery. The previous summer, there were a spate of robberies from gay men in the park, and Geoffrey's wallet had not been found. A post-mortem examination was carried out which revealed that Geoffrey was initially slashed from behind with an old car aerial with so much force that it snapped in half at the scene. and as he lay on the ground, he was kicked in the head so hard, imprints of a shod foot were found on his face, and it was discovered that he received 24 separate injuries during the assault. The police urged anybody with information to come forward. They assured the public that they would be given the strictest confidence, and the only reason they would be investigating involvement in Beaulieu Heights was the events surrounding the murder of Geoffrey Houghton-Windsor. However, the public response to the appeal was very disappointing. Few people came forward with information. 1 year after the murder, there were no new leads. A Freedom of Information request to the Metropolitan Police in 2024 confirmed the murder was still unsolved. A coroner's inquest on May 15, 2003, ruled that Geoffrey Houghton-Windsor died as a result of unnatural causes due to hemorrhages and head injuries. There are several unanswered questions in this case, and these need to be addressed. Who was the person running in the park? Was it Geoffrey trying to escape from danger into the sanctuary of his home opposite? Or was he running into the park to seek refuge from someone or something that he had seen in his flat or in the street nearby? Who did the ring belong to? Geoffrey had few friends, and his family did not recall if they saw him wear it. What were his movements between him arriving at Holborn at 6 p.m. on the 25th of June and his arrival at Beaulieu Heights? Where did the car aerial come from? If you have any information relating to the case of Geoffrey Houghton-Windsor, please contact the police by dialing 101, the UK's non-emergency number. Or you can give information anonymously to Crime Stoppers, the independent crime-fighting charity, on 0800 555 111. Thank you for listening to Tragedy Unravelled with me, Jason Lightoller. Behind every murder is a life that deserves to be remembered, understood, and never forgotten. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and thank you for joining me as we continue to unravel the truth.